The common understanding of Edgar Cayce's predictions regarding the United States is quite different from reality. Here in April 2026, Cayce's insights accurately reflect America's current state. Nevertheless, the vital specifics, those that were either modified or kept hidden, have yet to be revealed. Hold on a second. The general public's grasp of Cayce's pronouncements captures less than 10% of their actual breadth. The overwhelming bulk, the other 90%, has either gone unnoticed, been misunderstood, or simply slipped from collective remembrance. Edgar Cayce, famed for entering a sleep-like condition to gain answers, exact medical evaluations, insights into previous lives, and predictions about the fates of countries, was not meant to be a global mystery. Yet, his influence continues to be felt among spiritual communities, in historical debates, and increasingly within discussions concerning our present volatile times. This man, known as the sleeping prophet, would lie back, fold his hands across his chest, close his eyes, and enter a hypnotic state that he himself struggled to explain. While in this modified consciousness, corroborated by hundreds of first-hand observers and thousands of written records, he could access information far surpassing what would typically be accessible to those around him. Doctors approached him for insights on illnesses. Families turned to him regarding vanished relatives. Scholars probed him on topics ranging from history and consciousness to the ultimate direction of entire civilizations. Time and again, Cayce responded with a calm, matter-of-fact demeanor, as if he were simply reciting information from a source that lay just beyond the conventional limits of human understanding. Here, the story truly captures attention, since Edgar Cayce did in fact speak about the future of the United States. When his statements are compared with the developments occurring in 2026, the resemblances can seem deeply unsettling. He spoke of international political tensions, internal disagreements, and a growing sense of division, sentiments broadly felt but challenging for many to put into words today. However, what is frequently left out is this: Cayce did not foresee the future as a succession of disasters. He never delivered ominous forecasts. His perspectives were considerably deeper, less agreeable, yet remarkably more hopeful than any dramatic media report. Before we explore Cayce's specific declarations about America and the world's condition more thoroughly, kindly pause to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this with anyone who values investigating the deeper dimensions of history and spirituality. On The Prophecy and Conversation, our platform investigates ideas connecting the past, the present, and the hidden forces shaping our future. Should you find this content appealing, becoming a channel member is another possibility. Your support helps maintain these crucial conversations. Get ready, because our next conversation could completely change your view of the present age. Edgar Cayce maintained that the United States had been given a spiritual mission, not a political one, nor a military one, but a deeper responsibility that goes beyond national borders in financial matters. Cayce declared that America's real strength resided not in its military power or economic influence, but in a less obvious, yet considerably more powerful characteristic when truly put into practice. This power stemmed from the capacity for a society to be built on principles that extend past fear, greed, and domination. However, he warned that this intrinsic potential risked being wasted, not by foreign foes or financial competition, but by internal changes. Cayce declared that a society ignoring its fundamental principles, where the pursuit of material wealth overshadows individual spiritual growth, undergoes an essential weakening from within. If this happens, a country needs no external adversary for its collapse. It starts to fall apart autonomously. Think about that for a moment. These statements were made during the 1930s and 1940s, well before the internet's arrival, before social media algorithms deepened societal divisions, and decades before polls showed widespread public skepticism towards established organizations. Cayce did not describe this occurrence using modern political language. Instead, he termed it a confusion of minds, suggesting when societies stray from deep spiritual principles, like compassion, honesty, responsibility, and self-reflection, the result is not just moral decline. Rather, it appears as bewilderment. People become lost, institutions lose direction, and reality itself fractures into contradictory versions. Interestingly, Cayce did not present this as an inevitable collapse. He portrayed it more as a critical turning point, a moment where the collective course of society could shift based on choices made individually and jointly. This is the element seldom emphasized in typical summaries of his prophecies. For embedded within his records is a promise, one that only materializes after a crisis. Yet comprehending this promise first necessitates understanding Edgar Cayce's genuine character, since the common perception of him as an otherworldly, mysterious seer is quite misleading. His actual existence was considerably more practical. Edgar Cayce was born in Hopkinsville, Kentucky in 1877, growing up in a humble farming family. He was not, in the traditional meaning, a scholar or a spiritual medium. He was a deeply religious man who devoted much of his life to attending church, teaching Sunday school, and reading the entire Bible every year. Those who knew him described him as humble, quiet, and rather uncomfortable with the fame his extraordinary abilities brought him. His remarkable gift appeared almost by accident. During his younger years, while working as a photographer, Cayce completely lost his ability to speak because of a severe throat condition. Doctors couldn't find a remedy. Eventually, hypnosis was suggested as an experimental treatment. While in this hypnotic state, Cayce began describing the condition of his own throat and suggesting a cure that doctors had never heard of before. After waking up, he used the treatment method he had described during his trance, and his voice came back. That unusual incident profoundly changed the rest of his life. Word spread quickly, prompting people to soon ask him to enter the same trance-like state to diagnose their illnesses. Over time, his readings expanded beyond health, covering subjects from psychology and ancient history to metaphysical ideas. Before his death in 1945, Cayce had delivered more than 14,000 documented readings. Every single one was carefully transcribed by stenographers and archived. Currently, these records are preserved by the Association for Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach. These are not mere stories, they are genuine papers, exact transcripts of real sessions carried out over several decades. Among these countless readings, there is a set that continues to fascinate researchers. Cayce's predictions concerning the fates of countries. He spoke about Russia, China, and Europe. Nevertheless, his conversations regarding the United States took on a unique character. He discussed America with an emphasis on guardianship, not power or dominance. This focus on accountability fundamentally changes the way it is understood. Cayce viewed the United States as an experiment in human advancement, a place where varied people could work towards a societal pattern seldom seen worldwide, one built on both political and innate freedoms, liberty of thought, moral conviction, and spiritual exploration. However, he also warned that such inner freedom required individual exertion, a point where the conversation becomes disturbing. Because, as Cayce understood it, the American project would not fail due to governmental collapse or financial distress. Its downfall would happen when individuals stopped the self-reflective work crucial for sustaining an enlightened citizenry. This encompasses the act of self-scrutiny, the method of questioning ingrained beliefs, and the continuous endeavor to understand one's own urges, worries, and deep-seated preconceptions. When this inner commitment ends, Cayce proposed, a society starts to drift towards distraction. Depth becomes uncomfortable, serious thought falls out of favor, and superficial amusement quickly replaces contemplation, resulting in a slow, almost unnoticed weakening of the entire social environment from the inside out. Look around you in April 2026 and honestly consider if that depiction aligns with what you observe daily. Across the Western world, feelings of profound solitude and isolation are increasing at an unprecedented pace. Among younger age groups, mental health crises have escalated so severely that health officials now definitively label them an epidemic. Numerous people spend hours each day sifting through endless, chaotic information streams, yet they feel more disconnected from any genuine meaning or higher purpose than ever before. While Cayce certainly didn't describe smartphones, algorithms, or glowing digital screens, he explained the fundamental spiritual pattern of this exact era with remarkable, chilling accuracy. He envisioned a critical period when individuals would completely turn their focus away from what he simply called the soul's work. And in his perspective, when a nation ignores this vital inner effort, the consequences ultimately appear on the world historical stage. This is exactly where we see the predictions of intense disagreement, geopolitical conflict, and chaos. Nevertheless, remember our previous observation. Cayce never saw the future as permanently set in stone. Instead, he consistently regarded it as a shifting panorama of possible results based on collective free will. Consequently, the story does not end with adversity or unavoidable ruin. In fact, according to his profound insights, the current time of upheaval merely signals the painful beginning of a much greater human evolution. This brings us to one of his most commonly quoted, yet frequently misunderstood, predictions: his statement regarding Russia. For years, a single line from Cayce's readings has been repeated, often without its original context. He once claimed that the world's deliverance would come from Russia. Superficially, this claim seems odd, especially when viewed through a modern geopolitical lens. During the Cold War, and even now in 2026, the idea that Russia could represent worldwide hope seems almost absurd to many. However, Cayce's discussion wasn't about governmental systems, political ideologies, or military leadership. In the particular reading where this claim appears, he clarified that he was referring to a deeper quality, which he called the Russian soul. According to Cayce, Russia's spiritual heritage had nurtured a unique openness to difficulty, endurance, and the pursuit of spiritual upliftment. Centuries of challenges, struggles, and social transformations had shaped a national character that sustained a deep involvement with questions of meaning and purpose. He was confident that this spiritual depth could, at some future point, contribute considerably to the global advancement of consciousness. This contribution would not arrive through military power or ideological dominance, but through a resurgence of spiritual traditions deeply ingrained in Russian society. When heard within its full context, the assertion sounds less like a geopolitical prediction and more like an evaluation of cultural balance. Cayce often stressed that different civilizations needed to offer varied strengths to human progress. From his point of view, the United States embodied a strong focus on individual freedom and initiative. Russia represented resilience, introspection, and community connection. China personified ancient philosophical traditions, skilled at blending life's material and immaterial aspects. Rather than viewing these differences as origins of conflict, Cayce theorized they could eventually merge into a type of a fusion where each culture contributed something significant to humanity's broader evolution. Understandably, in 2026, the relationship between these nations remains intensely strained. Economic sanctions, military alliances, and opposing viewpoints predominantly characterize international dialogues, trapping them in a repeating cycle of distrust. Yet, from Cayce's perspective, these periods of increased tension could, in truth, indicate a phase within a more comprehensive metamorphosis. Within this worldwide transformation, the United States remained, contending with its own unsettled history and spiritual challenges. A particularly striking aspect of Cayce's understandings regarding America is his examination of collective karma. In spiritual philosophy, karma simply refers to the idea that actions create consequences that emerge over time. For whole societies, it indicates that previous deeds can profoundly influence the path of later generations. Cayce proposed that the United States possessed a distinct type of collective karma connected to its past. He discussed the lasting effects of slavery, the displacement of indigenous peoples, and the stark gap between the ideals stated in the nation's founding documents and the real-life experiences of many communities throughout history. He presented these remarks not as accusations, but as an assessment. Just as a doctor needs to identify the root cause of an illness before prescribing a treatment, Cayce argued that societies must acknowledge their historical injustices before they can move forward productively. Ignoring these inequalities does not make them disappear. It only defers the point when they will undeniably need to be addressed. Moreover, Cayce suggested that the United States would, periodically, encounter situations forcing it to face these unresolved issues. Social changes, cultural debates, and political disputes would all serve as indicators that the process of mending was incomplete. Yet again, we find the hopeful aspect of Cayce's perspective, as he viewed karma not as a punishment, but as an opportunity. When collectives recognize the outcomes of past actions and respond with sincere attempts to correct them, the energy that once drove conflict can be redirected towards progress. From a pragmatic standpoint, Cayce often pointed to selfless devotion as an effective way to resolve karmic imbalances. He described service not as a superficial gesture, but as a genuine commitment to improving the well-being of others. When people shift their focus from exclusively self-centered goals to efforts that benefit their communities, the general social atmosphere begins to change. This brings us back to the influence of ordinary people. Cayce was persuaded that the fate of the United States, and truly humanity's future, would depend considerably less on significant political shifts than on the subtle decisions made every day by innumerable individuals. Choices about how we interact with each other. Decisions regarding whether we embrace fear or understanding. Cayce further emphasized the significance of prayer and concentrated intention, defining it as a state of alignment between the mind, feelings, and a deeper universal awareness. Modern research on collective meditation suggests that synchronized states of calm, focused consciousness can influence social environments in ways scientists are still attempting to understand. The central message stays the same. Human awareness is not isolated. It interacts. It echoes. Once enough individuals cultivate mental sharpness and compassion, these qualities begin to radiate outwards the communities they are a part of. Cayce considered this advancement as the understated engine behind historical changes. He did not point to leaders or tycoons to change the trajectory. Instead, he identified individuals ready to search for deeper truths. The seekers. If you have viewed this video up to this point, it is highly likely that you resonate with that inner impulse. Cayce consistently explained that the future is not set in stone. His portrayals of future happenings were akin to river flows, shaped by collective decisions. Just as a river can change its route when new obstacles emerge, the future can shift when human awareness develops. So what will you personally decide in this critical year of 2026? Will you allow apprehension and division to dictate your view, or will you opt for insight? Every monumental historical change once seemed unattainable until its realization. The subsequent major transformation unfolds within you.